I hope you enjoyed that last video. We're gonna go into the Big Zero box again. You can check out the smoking barrel video that I would have posted not long ago. And now we're gonna pull out the next blaster. It is, on the pro side of things, the motorized piston pump. Let's take a look. X-Shot just keeps upping their game. And you saw they're still making fun blasters for kids of all ages too. That smoking barrel blaster was a lot of fun. And now we have an actual AEB, an automatic electric blaster. I think that's what it stands for. This blaster is the best combination. It is half Springer, half electronic. A motor primes the spring, so you get the ease of using an electric blaster, and you can get that accuracy that can come from a plunger-driven blaster. This is a case where the box for the X-Shot piston pump really does a good job of showing you what's happening. All those gears are in the handle there. We have our battery back in the stock. You can see the spring and our plunger tube there, and how those gears are priming back our spring, and then that plunger is going and firing a dart. That dart travels up the tube here, gets some spin on it, and out it goes. So the box art, they were really clever with kind of explaining the whole concept. I didn't really talk about these glasses, but it's cool that they included them. I'm gonna open this up and see what it comes with. As much as I'm not a big fan of saying, this blaster changes everything, or that blaster is the best of all time, if I was ever going to say it, it might be about this one. This blaster is absolutely amazing. I'm gonna shoot for that hinge. How fun is this blaster? I love all the styling. I love all the detailing on both sides. The venting that you can see this mag through. This front space up here to grip, I find it perfectly comfortable. People are working on things like shrouds. I'm accidentally lowering my table. You can release the mag here, it'll gravity drop, or you can use this finger and drop it with this hand. A lot of flexibility for whatever you prefer. It lets you use long stabilizing barrels. It lets you use B-cars like this with bearings that put rifling on the dart for more accuracy. This is something that you would find more in paintball and airsoft. And there have been blasters like the Colonel Wasp and the BK1 that have brought aspects of this to our hobby. But now X-Shot, a major brand, is bringing this to us in a big way. I'm not entirely sure what the price point is. I'm gonna guess probably under $100. Maybe it's a bit more Canadian. I'm not sure yet. But if I wanted to get a BK1, which I was thinking about doing, which is the same type of blaster, I would have been well over 200 Canadian, and it doesn't even take Talon mags. I would have had to buy a bunch of proprietary magazines. Whereas this blaster works just great with Talon magazines, with Dart Zone magazines. It is already something that I have a ton of mags for. If you've heard me talk about X-Shot before, I've talked about, how I do love it, but sometimes you have some quality issues. Not so with this blaster. This blaster feels comfortable. It feels really weighty in your hands. It feels solid. It doesn't feel like it has any flex. This barrel is metal. I know from other videos like Wallcoms that the internals are metal as well, metal gears. That means there's room potentially for upgrading this. FPS wise, this for me was hitting on average around 160. 160 off the shelf, an AEB that you can just go out and buy for probably around $100. I'm really gonna have to correct myself if I can find an actual price, but they're not out yet. But we know X-Shot is going to make it a good deal, and that is disruptive. When we're talking about that old cliche of changing everything, the X-Shot long shot, well, it did at least change our perception of X-Shot. By their introduction into the pro hobby, they came in hard with a very, very inexpensive offering. It wasn't without issues. It had some quality problems with the plunger, but it was hitting in the 150s. Very easy to prime, looked cool, ergonomic. While it wasn't perfect, what a great leap. It kind of blew everything else at the same price point away. And they followed that up with the X-Shot Fury. This thing's like under 20 bucks in the US sometimes. These are blasters that are letting you play in a club's high FPS game for peanuts. They really did do something to take away the pay-to-play aspect of more higher tier nerfing. If you're not familiar with blasters like this, I'm going to run you through how this works. There is a jam door. It's actually screwed on. And if you got one of these, you might wonder why. It's so that little Timmy or little Jimmy or little Sally Sue, if they don't know how this works and some parent gets them something and they don't quite understand it either, they don't stick a finger in there and have the end of it maybe lopped off. So I think that's just a bit of extra caution. I say all that, I fired a couple hundred rounds, I've had 0 jams. This blaster came with some sights. They're not great, but hey, it came with them. It has a collet on here that you can loosen. You could change your barrel. This is the B-car, the little bearing scar that came with it to put rifling and accuracy. It seems to work pretty well to me, but it'll also accept other scars or B-cars you might have. And we do have an extending stock here too. The stock is permanently attached because that is where your battery is. We have a beefy lithium-ion battery in here. It's pretty big. It's 7.6 volt, I think. I'm going to guess you could probably experiment around with a LiPo, maybe even increase your fire rate a little bit, but I'm going to keep this one pretty pristine until I know more. I'm up in Canada, so even when these are launched, it might be quite a while before I can get one. Now, I talked about if you did upgrade to a LiPo, that it might speed up your rate of fire. It's not going to affect your FPS performance because, like I said, there's no flywheels. You're going to have the same spring. The motor that primes the blaster might work faster, so it might up your fire rate. I'm going to be really interested to see what kind of upgrades and mod kits we're going to get. I'm sure Xbox Games, Out of Darts, all those folks are going to have lots of awesome things. Tag on YouTube, he's doing some designs. I'm going to put some links down below. You're going to see a lot of people with this blaster. And how could you not? This is going to be my go-to blaster when I really want to win a game in that kind of 150, 160, 170 FPS range. And this blaster's pretty big. Great grip, big grip. The graphics look really good. Gush. Okay, here's how this works. Let's go right from the start, okay? We are going to, here we have an on switch. I'm gonna turn it on. It's in single shot and there's full auto. When I press this the first time, you'll hear a beep. That means it's on. I'm gonna press it again. And now it is primed and ready. I put in my mag. Now, if I fire right now, it's going to sound like it fires, but no dart will come out because a dart is not loaded into the breech. That's why it has this thing on the back. This is a charging handle. So I'm gonna pull this back, let it go forward, and now it's loaded a dart from my mag in, and it's ready to go. Otherwise, I could have just fired it once and fired it again, and that second shot would have a dart. And this is all single shot. You can only fire so fast. I tried to double tap that trigger and it only fired once. So you kind of have to get the hang of how fast you can fire. An AEB is not typically going to be the fastest kid on the block, but you're getting those advantages of accuracy and you're getting an awful lot of those electric flywheel blaster advantages, just maybe not the rate of fire. I'm gonna put this over on full auto so you can see how fast it does fire. Still pretty fun. I think I ran out of darts there at some point. I'll put in a Talon. Oh, the first one did not fire a dart because I forgot to charge it. You do technically have to charge it anytime you put in a new mag or else nothing happens. Oh, maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it's just that very first time because that fired a dart first time. I'm not familiar with these blasters. The only blasters that are AEBs technically that I've had are Vulcans. Yep, and swarm fires. It works like a stampede, which means you pull this trigger, the motor pulls back a spring and then fires a dart. That means there's no rev trigger. You just squeeze and fire. That's so cool. Those are actually AEBs because they use gears to prime and a spring to fire. So is the Nerf Halo blaster, the Needler, the Nerf Limited blaster. That's also technically an AEB. But this is a much more sophisticated version of one. And there's some things like the charging handle that they don't do. Let's say you're all done. You fired all your darts. We take our mag out, or we don't. I'm now going to put this in single shot. I'm gonna press and hold this trigger for 5 seconds. And what that does is it deprimes your blaster. There's a little window right here. If that window is white, like if you can see a bit of the bolt sled probably, it means it's still primed. If you just see black there, it means that it's deprimed, it's ready to turn off and ready to put away. So there are, as you can see, a few little more complicated things than certainly the average person would be used to. But maybe if you're coming, unlike me, you're coming from airsoft or paintball, some of this might actually be a lot more familiar than it was for me. So I'm gonna turn it back on. I'm gonna hit my trigger, makes it beep once. I'm going to hit the trigger here and I'm gonna charge it. Now a dart's loaded and I can fire. This thing is so satisfying to fire. I think we're gonna wrap it up by this blaster. Keep an eye on the pinned comment. You know, if a month down the road or whenever these are available, I think it was supposed to be June, but I heard rumors it might get pushed back. And we're in June. I heard rumors it might be this week in June, but it might be pushed back. Keep an eye on the pinned comment. If mine breaks in 3 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever, I will certainly put any extra info there. A lot of people have received these. A lot of people are putting them through their paces and they are not having issues. And my goodness, this thing is so fun to fire. And I love flywheelers. I love them so much, but I'm not used to always hitting my target like I do with this. So, you know, if you like accuracy and stuff, this is pretty cool. So awesome. Thanks so much, X-Shot, for sending this to me. Otherwise, up here in the great white north, who knows when I would have had a chance. Till next time.